Alright, welcome to Feisty Chess. I'm playing a game as white against Aquavision Air on Lee Chess. We have a Sicilian, so I'll play my Smith-Morra Gambit. It's been a while. Actually, I've been playing some Blitz lately, so I've played some Smith-Morra games. I'm still warming up here. 1 win, 2 losses since starting back up. So, Happy New Year to everyone. And I'm hoping for evening the score here, getting 2-2. Here we are, Smith-Morra. I love how white's pieces flow out so easily and create all sorts of pressure against black's position. Ooh. This, I push e5 here, right? The knight really doesn't have anywhere good to go. Knight g4, I just play h3, and it has to go to h6. h3 is a nice move to get in for free. Oh. What did I... Okay. Let's come down 2 pawns. That's how it is. Well, let's try to build some initiative, I guess. Actually, he'll get e5 in for free here, won't he? Okay. Now I'm making real threats. I don't think g6 was his best approach. My threat mainly right now is actually, ooh, I have bishop takes. Is this the way to do it? Bishop takes f7. I could follow up with bishop takes d6. If that knight weren't there, that would be... Oh no, better than bishop takes d6 is bishop d5 check, bishop e5 check. But I'm giving up both bishops for just a rook, a dead rook in the corner, in fact. Bishop f7, let's look at this, we've got a little time. Bishop e5 check, king g8. Is there some better way I can add pressure here? I could go bishop. I could go bishop h6 right now. There's a mate threat. Bishop d6. Oh, that's not sacking 2 bishops, but just 1. Oh, that wins. That wins. Bishop d. Well, it's not super forcing, but bishop d6 Gets a pawn back. Doesn't threaten a mate, but it's got to be threatening enough, doesn't it? The thing is, if he takes with the pawn, then this is going to be a mate. If he takes with the queen, then queen check, and then the rook is on the same file, and I'm pinning the queen to the king. He can play knight d4. That's got to be good for me. I'm going to go for this. Yeah, earlier I needed to play bishop f4, so I got off to a bad start here. Lackadaisical approach. I need to play bishop f4, and then d6 is the critical line. h3 might come later at some point. But I'm happy with aside from being down the 2 pawns, I'm happy with how this is going since. Happy enough, I should say. And if he plays like e6 here, I guess I take on f8, and he can't castle. King takes f8 might get him castled by hand, but at least costs him another tempo. Oh, bishop. Look at this. I was looking at these bishop e5 lines. This wouldn't have worked because knight takes e5 just solves all black's problems. Even here, knight e5 just solves everything. So really, bishop d6 was the only sensible way to continue with the attack. Oh, wait, I'm thinking... He's played f5. I missed this. All right. Oh. Now, queen d5 looks tempting, but the problem is there's problems with e6. So this bishop's got to go somewhere. I guess f4 looks like the best place for it still. Okay, now I'm just down a pawn. I've got a nice harmonious looking position. Knight d4, I need to go back to d1 with my queen. Well, d3 might work. Seems risky. D3 is probably better. Cat. All right, I don't want to miss another move by Aquavisionaire here. I'll have a hard time castling. What if he goes e5? Maybe bishop g3 was better because e5 hits my bishop. Okay. I think I'm going queen to d3. Probably bishop g7 here. I should probably just castle. Black can't do that. Ooh. See an interesting idea. Bishop g5, pinning that pawn. I'm just going to castle. I got to get my king to safety and get the rooks in the game. This should be enough to keep him from playing, say, e6 here. I don't know. I got lots of pressure with rook. Okay. Okay. Now I can pin. And I'm threatening. That's good. This is good. Threatening the knight as well. He's got to go knight c6, I think, here. And then he's not going to get castled. I probably don't want to trade queens if knight c6. I can maybe go queen g3, just adding more pressure to e5. Yeah. Or get out of here. Or bishop d5. Knight d5. Oh, knight d5 makes some sense, doesn't it? No, I don't think knight d5 is that good. Yeah, I'm going to put some more pressure on that pawn. I'll probably play e4 at this point, but then my rook comes in the game with attack on the queen. And if I'll save knight d5 for if he tries to defend with, say, queen e7 or queen c7, then knight d5 hits with the tempo. That cat's terrorizing my house here, vying for my attention. Oh, king f8. Well, that's one way to handle it. All right, it looks like I can just take the pawn. Takes. I take with rook. If he takes with the bishop, then I'm hitting his rook and he can't save the exchange. So I'm getting material equality again. Or maybe I just play rook d1 here, get all my pieces rocking. But that allows him to get his queen on that pawn. And that okay, I'm going for this. I don't see a way for him to save the rook, since his king is boxed in here after the exchanges. And since he's got this pawn chain like this, if I can trade off those dark square bishops, keep the queens on the board, it's worth me giving up the bishop pair for this. I might even let him keep the exchange if it gives me lots of pressure. Is he going to take it? He's not. Okay. Well, I'm just better here. I am better, and I think my rook just goes home. I think that's the way to play this. Keeping everything protected. My king is much safer. I'm completely developed. Knight d5 is coming. Life is good. F4 seems to make sense for black here. I'd probably just play queen f3. Problem is that runs into the knight d4 idea. But the problem with taking the queen, say, to d3 after f4 is the bishop f5 comes in with tempo. Yeah, okay, I'm looking at queen f3, knight d, ooh, knight f5, knight e5. It gets rid of my bishop. I'd rather the bishop, well, no, I don't want him developing his rooks. My queen wants to go to d5. Question is, do I want the knight or the bishop to chase me there? I do have knight d5 right now. Ooh, and if he moves the queen, I'll probably have a check on a3. That just nets me a pawn, although it's not a very good pawn. But I'm low on time here. Let's let's harass this queen. This is the key idea. If he tries to come, say, queen d4, I am ready with queen a3, queen a3. Okay, we're trading queens. This doesn't actually net me a pawn, but I am happy with this. He can take on f2. Okay, it's panned out kind of dead. But as far as oversights go, something panning out dead, it could be a lot worse, right? I still got better pieces here. I'm threatening. I don't know if it's a threat, but I've got ideas of rook e8. Ooh. Ooh, now I like this. I like the look of this. I'm going to head to d6 with this knight. Oh, man. Knight can't stay on d6, though, but he's very powerful. He's got... Oh, I'm threatening a fork. I'm threatening a fork. So probably rook f8 check is needed here. And I'll just, well, is it worth it to come to g3? I might want to play g4, so I'll go to g1. This is why I like my knight on d3. He's going to have to give up a pawn. Well, maybe not. I got anything good here? Actually, that bishop doesn't have many good places to go. Let's just kick it. Get our g4 in with tempo. And if he comes to c2, I just get my other rook in the game. probably go back to d7. I might want to chop this knight with the bishop. Yeah, d7. And what's nice about this is I can hit that bishop with knight c5 after rook b8 here. He's not going for rook b8. I am going for knight c5 anyway. Wait, why not back to d6? Let's go here. Okay, I like the simplifying. Okay, I've got a tricky tactic here. I'm eyeing. I don't know if it's the best move, but oh, okay. I'd love to trade rooks. I'm up a pawn, and I just want to simplify here. Oh, and I can put him in a... That's an ugly pin. Oh, I'm threatening g5 check, and then knight check. No, that's not right. I'm trying to get my knight to f6. Let's just protect the bishop, just in case. He wants to protect so he can unpin the knight. Maybe king f7. I better get my king in the game. Maybe g5 would be good here. Oh, okay. He's got another protector on his knight. But no, he doesn't. Yeah. Okay. This is a big threat. This is a good move positionally because it means I have a waiting move here on the king side and white doesn't. Black doesn't. But it also threatens a big threat, knight f. Maybe that's not such a big threat. Anyway, the knight is still sort of pinned because there's this fork. If the knight moves, I take, he takes, and I've got a fork with my knight landing on h7, grabbing that pawn. And it looks like that's how it's going to go. Thing is, he's going to get a pawn on b2 if we do this. Yeah, we better trade bishops. But his knight will be, my knight will be out of play too. Ah, okay, let's just make a move. Let's push our passer. So I'm still threatening this pawn over here. I don't need that to be a fork for that threat to make sense. Let's attack that knight. He can't play a6. I'll just play knight c5 and grab it. So we'll make a passer as soon as we can here. And his knight is really out to lunch. So I'm going to go grab kingside pawns now. Like how my king really just keeps his knight from coming to any useful squares. I might even be able to clean up this g6 pawn if my knight gets to f8. So maybe needs to come back to king d8, which is really admitting defeat. Yeah, I'm just going to grab. I'm not going to get too fancy here. He's probably planning on bringing his knight to c5, but if I get my knight to f8 here, it should be game over. I mean, this already should be game over, but the problem is I've got 13 seconds left, and if anything fancy happens, I might not hack it. Yeah, let's get the knight to f8. The only place he can go is c5, at which point he is threatening a fork. But if he goes to c5, I'm just going to push here. And that'll give his... yeah, he's threatening a fork now. Oh, he's threatening 2 forks. I'm going to go here. And he can't make this fork. But that wasn't really a threat. Okay, I'll protect my pawn. He still can't protect his. And if he comes to d2 with the check, I go to b4. And once my knight lands on g6, it's protecting my vulnerable pawn on h. Oh, what is it now? h4. Offers a draw. I will decline that. Up 2 pawns, about to go up 3. Yeah, no reason not to take here. And it might just be time to march on the king side. Let's make a passer on the queen side. His king will have to hunt this down. Oh, or not. But this allows me to run over here. All right, he's going to let it run out. So let me jump in the analysis board and we can see how this might end. The computer really doesn't know what to play here. Everything loses. Okay, 94. 94 is an idea to hit this pawn, but then I just run. There's no stopping this pawn. Well, I got to be careful. He takes, and he is stopping the pawn. Oh, king b5 is better. This actually threatens to get things going over here. So yeah, this could be somewhat interesting. Let's say black takes, b7. Okay. Yeah, the idea is my knight can come in 2 steps to get here and actually check on the queening square. What's wrong with king a6 here? Is that good enough? Probably. Yeah, trying to get the knight back. h6. I mean, either one probably wins. Knight c5 check. And yeah, he's got to take it. That's more or less how this would end. Let's start at the beginning. Morra Gambit. And again, I made a pretty big opening blunder here. I think e5 is maybe the right move. Computer likes e5. Let's see what the Morra players on Lichess and the Masters have been playing. Bishop c4 usually. Every time, actually. E5 may transpose with bishop F4, D6. I bet this transposes into other games. Still no game found. E takes D6, E5. Oh, E5. Interesting. Oh, that's a nice idea. Apparently it's drawish, but I just let that pawn hang and played H3. So black's up 2 pawns. He did this Budapest knight thing and he got away with it free of charge. Okay, but I do have a lead in development still, and a lot of times that can count for more than a pawn. Okay, G6. Yeah, big mistake. That doesn't help him. He wants to play E6 here, or E5, like I said, with tempo on my bishop, and getting his pieces out with tempo. So this doesn't help him. E5 is still maybe playable now. Let's see E5, because I can't take it. Oh, bishop F7, king F7, then oh, bishop G5. Right. Okay, I'm winning the queen here. So now, yeah, now E5 is not playable, and I've got F7 threats. Yeah, bishop takes D6, kind of ruins that party with black playing D6. F5, bishop F4. Okay, computer likes that move. What if E5 right here? I examined this, didn't I? E5 right here, rook D1. That's where that rook wants to come anyway. Knight D4. Ooh, this is getting hairy. Oh, but I can pin with queen. No, don't even pin. Okay, pin the knight. And this pawn ever takes. I just castle. Because that knight is pinned, but he's not really pinned. He can come back to C6, right? Now the other rook comes in. I'm a piece down, but he has to block with the bishop. And now knight D5. I'm threatening knight F6, perhaps. But he throws away a bishop. What's wrong with this one? Queen C3. Rook here. Knight takes E7, knight takes E7. No. Yeah, knight takes E7. Oh, because I'm hitting it with my rook. Those powerful rooks. Okay, that's the magic of the Morra. You get those pieces out so quick, the rooks are free to rage from the first rank with those 3 open files. 3 in this case. So the 2 pawns I sacked, that gave me 3 open files. He went knight D3 instead. Knight D4, now queen D3. It wants me to castle long. Keeps the knight pinned. I castled short. Still good, but not nearly as good. What's the idea with castle long? Bishop E6. Interesting try. Bishop takes. Knight takes. Oh, and then there's this check. So he's up. He's up. No, he's not even up a piece here. He's just busted. Okay. Castled short. Still looking good. Got that pin. Queen G3 is the computer's idea. Queen E7. Yeah, that seemed more stalwart to me. Because that also... This pawn is still pinned, but it keeps another defender on it, at least. But knight D5. And now queen D6. Ooh. Lining stuff up here. Looking at like knight B6. And black just has to let it happen. Oh, bishop G5 is even allowable. Just don't let him castle anywhere. Yeah, and he can't castle. Look, if he castles here, this is a double check. King's got to move. And I can grab the queen. I can grab a piece and win the exchange as well if I want. Okay, we took a little detour there. Queen g3, king f8. Maybe not so bad. Yeah, oh, it likes rook takes first. Interesting. This is still good. Rook takes. Now let's look at this line. This is the key line. I'm surprised he didn't take. I can get the exchange back right away, but is queen c5 the problem? No, I'll go for the immediate bishop g8, apparently. Queen c5. Queen e7 just gives up the whole rook. What's wrong with this? Rook d1. Oh. Well, what if the queen just moves? Anyway, if the bishop comes here, I think the bishop ends up getting lost. Because this check... No, okay, king f8. That's possible, yeah. Queen takes, now queen f6. He's got to go here. Oh, bishop b5. Not even grabbing the rook, but getting the queen instead. Brutal stuff. Fun stuff. Okay, but he didn't do that. He went queen to f6, and yeah, rook comes back home. Queen f3. Okay, yeah, I blew it. I blew it. I do this a lot. I'm a little too happy for queen trades. I wouldn't say I blow it. I blew it because I had a better ending. And I went into a better ending, and endings are much easier for me in low time, in time pressure. So, but let's look at queen f3. I'm wondering about queen d3. That's probably still good too. King g7. Why not just come out here? Now queen f3. Oh. And now we're just going to pick on f4. Okay. Well, queen d3. Queen f3 is the given line. Now I'm guessing this. Now queen e4. Oh, sure. Just threaten the mate, you know. What's wrong with king g7 here? Knight d5. Oof. Yeah. And the queen can't hang on to that knight on d4. So you got to move that knight. That's the threat. Knight d5, queen d4, tradesies. No tradesies, I'm guessing. Queen c2. Not going with the check. But just hanging on to the bishop, getting ready to play rook d1. Queen b3. Very, very sharp stuff here. Okay, instead I went for an ending. And let me show you this. If he tries to gain like a tempo on my piece, I have a check. And this is super dangerous for his king, as far as I can tell. King has to go to g7, otherwise he's in a bunch of trouble. Yeah, and then just b3, just to hold on to things. I'm worrying about b5 here. Oh, but there's rook d1. Okay. Well, we went for the ending instead. Did like knight e8 check. It liked knight d6. Oh, rook a to d1 right away. Really likes white here. I don't even have an extra pawn on the board, but it gives me +2. That's an okay move. Likes bishop c2 better. That's funny. Where's it going? Oh, it doesn't like that. Rook to d1 instead. Oh, yeah, make him a little scared. Make him play a rook to d8, and then you can grab. Okay, so what black can equalize here with knight d4, threatening this fork. Does it really threaten all that much? I've got this. Rook e7, bishop c6. Oh, and his pieces are, ooh, starting to look not so good around my king. Knight a5. Yeah, the bishop doesn't have a square to go to maintain those threats. So we trade knight for bishop. Or what? Rook a to b8? b8? Oh, he's got this thing protected with his knight. Oh, this is so sharp. Knight takes c6. And then I grab on a7? No, I don't. Alright, anyway. Endgames can also be sharp. Fortunately, my opponent wanted to keep it simple. Especially simple, trading off both rooks. Now, when you're in a worse ending, especially a pawn down, trade the minor pieces off, not the rooks, because the rooks are much easier to draw with. And this is a neat little motif I hadn't seen before. His bishop could unpin by coming to d7 if my knight weren't watching d7, because from d7, the knight can move, say, to e5 or g8 and still protect the bishop and untangle this mess. But since the bishop can't do that, the king has to come in. Now, knight to e4 would have made sense. Knight e4, then he's got to go king f8, doesn't he? Well, then he can come to d7. So I just decided to improve my position. Yeah, and I'm winning here, but I have to be careful. So we'll trade the bishops happily, and now these endings are usually won if you can trade the knights. Yeah, his knight, I think coming to e4 was not the right move. He needs to find a way to protect g6. That's super important here. It's the only way of trying to hold out. But he can't do that because my knight watches both of these squares, and any trades are just going to be one for white. So yeah, e4, what else is he going to do? And he just comes back. a6. Oh, a6 would have been better, maybe. I wanted to make a straight passer, but the thing is, he can collect this passer right away if he goes with the king. Oh, but then my king's getting in. Huh. Nice little move to keep his king from coming in. Knight to e8. Yeah, and that should be easy to win. So, thanks for watching. Everybody stay feisty.